Okay, so dear friends, today we decided that we'll do half hour of meditation. Now, I just wanted to say that I have never taught meditation. I don't know how to meditate. So I'm not teaching meditation today. It's just that some lines from Savitri have in the past 2 months really helped me to focus a bit. Because when we sit down for meditation, I don't know if we are really being able to focus, being really able to meditate, so to say. And these lines have immensely helped me a little on that path. So I didn't want to just enjoy them by myself. I wanted to share that joy with our Quest group. And that is the reason that I said that we'll first try to meditate, attempt to call the divine first for the first half an hour, and then we will go into our sonnet, the dual being. Now, since flexibility, yoga is flexibility, entering into the divine consciousness can happen only with flexibility. So, we will keep a flexibility in this half an hour also. If it extends a bit, it doesn't matter. If we are able to do dual being, we'll do it today. If we are not able to do it, we'll do it another day. So let's keep that little flexibility in our scheduling. Regarding meditation, it is best to fix a time and a space to meditate. And when we do meditation, following a kind of a discipline, the discipline of time, that the hour or the moments are fixed, and the space, if possible, is fixed. If we follow that discipline, then generally the universe, Sari Srishti, Sara Brahmand comes to help us. Now one would wonder, how long should the meditation be? Well, in the initial stages, it is best to have 3 slots in the day of just 20 minutes each. The Aurobindo ashram meditation is exactly 7:30 to 7:50. But it's a fixed time, and for years it's been like that. So everybody, wherever they are in the universe, they are in the United States, they are in Delhi, they are in Calcutta, wherever they are, those who are united to the ashram, try to meditate at that fixed time of the ashram. It really helps. And we also can try to do that. And then it will become like a collective meditation from our own spaces. And then there can be a morning time, there can be an afternoon time. And because we want to follow a certain discipline, then even if we are not able to focus in those 20 minutes, what we must do is continue to sit for those 20 minutes because we have decided to focus at that time. And this is what we must try to do. Maintain a discipline of those 20 minutes 3 times a day. Now, suppose meditation lag gaya, dhyan lag gaya. Agar dhyan lag gaya, then there's no need to 20 minutes ho gaya, mera discipline hai, I'm leaving. Then we can continue. But we must do it for a minimum time, that whatever time you fixed. Now the question that comes next is, what is meditation? What is concentration? Kirit uncle has always explained that meditation is taking a thought and then developing that thought within our being. For instance, who is God? Or where is God? And then one keeps thinking about it, who is God? And you keep developing that thought, developing that thought. He used to give the example, Kirit uncle, used to give the example of what is divine love. In what ways does the divine love me? And then just meditate on that thought. The mother used to give a very beautiful meditation, and that is going to be a kind of a topic that we are going to meditate on, lines from Savitri. And the mother used to say that you imagine that you are sitting in front of a bronze door and the door is closed. and you are outside the door, and there's someone inside the door. Inside the door, if Krishna is your Priyatam, you can imagine Krishna, you can imagine the mother, you can imagine universal Shakti, you can imagine a light. It depends on what you spontaneously feel like connecting to, but that is behind the door. And you're sitting outside the door and praying to that presence. Open the door. Please open the door. Krishna, open the door. Please open the door. That can be a very beautiful meditation. And in Savitri, I found some very beautiful lines which we will be meditating on. Now, if meditation is to develop a thought, what is concentration? Concentration is focusing all our energies, all of it at one point. And Sri Aurobindo has said that there are many gates to the body from which we can enter into this space. But Sri Aurobindo has specifically spoken about three spaces on which we can concentrate. One, he said you should concentrate on above the head, because there is a great amount of energy that's focused here. And if we bring our focus to this space, imagine the mother there, or imagine Krishna, imagine the universal Shakti, imagine Christ, imagine who you want, but the space above the head. That's one of the choices. The second choice, Sri Aurobindo says, is that one can focus on the head area. Some people, yogis, talk about the Ajna Chakra, that this is where we should concentrate, but it is not necessary. It is not compulsory. Whole head area is a beautiful space to concentrate on and focus, bring all our energies of consciousness together in this head area. My favorite, and I think Sri Aurobindo also was partial to it, is the heart center. Why I find it the most beautiful to concentrate on, because the psychic being, the Atman, the soul, is stationed here. The door that is closed here. The door that we are praying to open is here. So I enjoy concentrating in the heart center with a great intensity of aspiration. We can all concentrate, and we will all try to concentrate on aspiring that this door opens. Today's meditation will be on some lines of Savitri, which we will first read together. We must understand them. It should not be mechanical. So we will understand those lines and then meditate or concentrate on them.
Definitely. Auntie?
Yeah?
I wanted to ask one question.
Yes, Simta?
Like you said that one way to meditate is to think of a question and then concentrate on it.
Yeah, on all the different aspects of that point.
So in that case, do we first think of the question and then just go blank in our thoughts, or do we keep thinking of that question?
No, keep thinking of the question, developing that question. Where is God? Now you develop that thought, develop it. The divine God is right here in the table. God is in the water that I'm drinking. Wow.
Because many people, they say that if you have to meditate, you have to think of nothing.
Yeah, but is it easy? Does it happen?
Right.
The mind is like a monster. It always needs, it's like the genie, in the lamp. It always needs something to do. मास्टर मुझे कुछ करने को दो, कुछ करने को दो, कुछ करने को दो. अगर हम blank रखने की कोशिश करेंगे, the mind will go to the serial that you watched last, or what your mother said to you, or what happened in your workspace. Something or the mind needs a thought. So we'll give the mind a thought.
Okay, thank
and
you.
We'll keep it busy.
Understood.
Okay?
But if you say that concentrate on the heart, Then what? Just concentrate on the heart.
If-
Then what?
Yeah, if you're able to, today, what we are going to do is going to be like, it's like concentrating on the heart, because in the heart, there is that psychic being, there is that psychic entity, there is that flame. And we concentrate, bring all our energies of consciousness together and concentrate on one point, one space. It's not easy. Meditation is easier. But today, we are going to try both. Let's see what happens. I don't know. I mean, this is again in the hands of the divine grace. अपने हाथ में तो कुछ होता ही नहीं है. But all that we have in our hands is an aspiration, a burning aspiration, and an effort. And we are going to do both together. Right?
Thank you.
Once we try it, Neetu, then we'll see if there are, what are the experiences, and if there are any questions, or there are some sharings that anybody wants to do of their experience. But before we begin, I want to tell you a little story. Once a disciple asked Swami Ramakrishna Paramhans, why he said, why is Swamiji, I'm not able to see God. I'm making so much effort. I'm reading so much. I'm doing so much dhyan. माँ काली की पूजा भी करता हूँ, सब करता हूँ, but I'm not able to see God. Why? So Swami Ramakrishna Paramhans said, no problem, I'll give you the answer. Let's go to the nearby river. And he took him to the nearby river. Then he said, get inside and take a dip. So he thought maybe he's purifying me, and after that he'll give me some magic mantra and I will see God. What all of us do. You all expect कि कोई miracle हो जाएगा और कुछ हो जाएगा. Maybe किसी दिन grace does that miracle. But for the time being, what did Swami Ramakrishna Paramhans do? When he went in for a day, the disciple, he put his hand on his head and pressed him into the water. Now he couldn't breathe. When he couldn't breathe, वो छटपटाने लग गया. And he started wanting to get out of the water because he needed to breathe. He needed to be alive. So he was panting and pushing, and finally Swami Ramakrishna Paramhans let go of his hand and he could come out. And he could finally breathe. And he gasped. And he asked Swamiji, what did you do? And Swamiji said, when your need and aspiration to connect with God will be of the same intensity with which you wanted to breathe when you were underwater, then you will connect with God. Is your intensity to see God that much, as much as you needed to breathe when you were under the water and you were not being able to breathe? So we have to be able to gauge our intensity. दुनिया के इतने झमेलों में हम फंसे हुए हैं, क्या हमारी इंटेंसिटी उतनी है to meet God, to see God, to connect with God? Not only to meet God, to see God, to connect with God, but to be stationed in God. कि हम वहाँ स्टेशन हो गए, हम वहीं, I'm stationed here and from here only I'm functioning. Remember the intensity of Mirabai. दिवसन भूख नींद नहीं रहना, मुख सूखे आवे नहीं चैना, आकुल व्याकुल फिरूं रैन दिन, बिरहा कले जो खाए प्यारे, प्यारे तुम बिन प्रभु तुम बिन रहियो न जाए. She asked कि क्यों चढ़ पाओ अंतर्यामी, आन मिलो कृपा कर स्वामी. It's like that intensity is so huge कि बस तेरे से मिलना है, बस तेरे से मिलना है. Intensity अपनी बढ़ानी है. But हम अभी कहाँ फंसे हुए हैं? हम फंसे हुए हैं in all the exit gates that God has made of this body. Mona ma'am, can you show us reference for the Katha Upanishad that we took out today? It is a reference from Katha Upanishad, which says, Paranchi khani vyatrinat swayambhu Tasmat parang pashyati na antaratman. The self-existent has created the senses with outgoing tendencies. Itni sari outgoing tendencies hai. Eyes are seeing outwards, the nose is smelling outwards, the taste is tasting outwards. Everything is outwards. The self-existent created the senses with outgoing tendencies. Therefore, we see the external world and we do not see the inner Atman. And a further Kathopanishad says, Kaschid dhirah pratyagatmanam ekshat avritta chakshuhu amritatvam. But the wise person, desiring immortality, turns his senses away from the world and seeking what is everlasting, seeking that which is immortal, realizes the Atman or self within. You know, there's a story of Shankaracharya ji. Once Shankaracharya ji was going through a village and he saw absolutely unread villager looking at the Gita. And he was as if reading it, he was looking at it with great intensity. And then he would turn the page. And then again he would look at it with great intensity. And Adi Shankara thought, this man can't read. What is he doing turning the pages? What is he doing with the Gita? And he went to the person and he said, excuse me, can you tell me what you're reading in the Gita? And this unread villager said that, Swamiji, when I look at these pages, I see something so beautiful. I see a huge white chariot. And in front of it, there are so many white horses. And there is this blue, this Krishna in his color and his clothes, the charioteer. And it's such a beautiful sight. I can't take my eyes off it. And that's what I keep staring at. It is so beautiful, this vision. And when I turn the page, it continues. So I'm just looking at that. And Adi Shankara said, you know what? I went to him. I said, I want to learn from you now. मेरे को ये दृष्टि दीजिए कि मैं भी ऐसा देख सकूं. So, intensity की बात होती है meditation or concept. Mona ma'am, if we can have those lines from Savitri, which we'll read once or twice. Once we've really understood, then we'll meditate or concentrate, whoever feels comfortable in whatever manner. In moments when the inner lamps are lit and the life's cherished guests are left outside, our spirit sits alone and speaks to its gulfs. A wider consciousness opens then its doors, invading from spiritual silences. A ray of the timeless glory stoops a while to commune with our seized illumined clay and leaves its huge white stamp upon our lives. In moments when the inner lamps are lit and the life's cherished guests are left outside, our cherished guests are all those who our senses are asking for, who are out, our heart is asking for. Our emotions are asking, oh family, oh saman, oh name. Sometimes we ask for material things and sometimes we ask for subtle things like name, fame, शोहरत चाहिए, कोई हमें अच्छा बोल दे चाहिए, या सामान चाहिए. So all these are our cherished guests. But there are moments when the inner lamps are lit and the life's cherished guests are left outside. Then our spirit sits alone and speaks to its gulfs. And then what happens? Then a wider consciousness opens then its doors, invading from spiritual silences. A ray of the timeless glory stoops a while to commune with our seized illumined clay and leaves its huge white stamp upon our lives. So that ray of the timeless glory, it stoops when the door opens a bit, then there is an invasion from those spiritual silences inside. And a ray of the timeless glory, it stoops a while. What does it stoop a while for? So that it can communicate. Communicate with whom? With this outer being, which has got seized by this light. And it wants to communicate with this outer being. It's this clay. And it has got seized and it has got illumined because it has decided to leave these cherished guests outside. And then what does this light do? It leaves its huge white stamp upon our lives. We'll read this once more. In moments when the inner lamps are lit and the life's cherished guests are left outside, our spirit sits alone and speaks to its gulfs. A wider consciousness opens then its doors, invading from spiritual silences. A ray of the timeless glory stoops a while to commune with our seized illumined clay and leaves its huge white stamp upon our lives. It's quite simple, these words, na? Clear to everybody? So should
Yes,
we
ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. So should we just, I've recorded it. So would you like that the words are read out in the recording? I put it in a loop. Or would you like to just meditate without the sound of the words, without someone reading them out? What would everybody prefer?
I would prefer reading.
I prefer the words.
You prefer the reading out.
Oh, I prefer the silence. That doesn't matter. We can do.
Okay, so what we can do is, Mona ma'am, for 5 minutes we'll keep this on, and for 5 minutes we'll have complete silence. All right, Mona ma'am? In moments when the inner lamps are lit and the life's cherished guests are left outside, our spirit sits alone and speaks to its gulfs. A wider consciousness opens then its doors, invading from spiritual silences. A ray of the timeless glory stoops a while to commune with our seized, illumined clay and leaves its huge white stamp upon our lives. In moments when the inner lamps are lit and the life's cherished guests are left outside, our spirit sits alone and speaks to its gulfs. A wider consciousness opens then its doors, invading from spiritual silences. A ray of the timeless glory stoops a while to commune with our seized, illumined clay and leaves its huge white stamp upon our lives. In moments when the inner lamps are lit and the life's cherished guests are left outside, our spirit sits alone and speaks to its gulfs. A wider consciousness opens then its doors, invading from spiritual silences. A ray of the timeless glory stoops a while to commune with our seized, illumined clay and leaves its huge white stamp upon our lives. In moments when the inner lamps are lit and the life's cherished guests are left outside, our spirit sits alone and speaks to its gulfs. A wider consciousness opens then its doors, invading from spiritual silences. A ray of the timeless glory stoops a while to commune with our seized, illumined clay, and leaves its huge white stamp upon our lives. In moments when the inner lamps are lit and the life's cherished guests are left outside, our spirit sits alone and speaks to its gulfs. A wider consciousness opens then its doors, invading from spiritual silences. A ray of the timeless glory stoops a while to commune with our seized, illumined clay, and leaves its huge white stamp upon our lives. In moments when the inner lamps are lit and the life's cherished guests are left outside, our spirit sits alone and speaks to its gulfs. A wider consciousness opens then its doors, invading from spiritual silences. A ray of the timeless glory stoops a while to commune with our seized, illumined clay, and leaves its huge white stamp upon our lives. In moments when the inner lamps are lit and the life's cherished guests are left outside, our spirit sits alone and speaks to its gulfs. A wider consciousness opens then its doors, invading from spiritual silences. A ray of the timeless glory stoops a while to commune with our seized, illumined clay, and leaves its huge white stamp upon our lives. So, how was it? Good. Aurobindo Savitri is a mantric poetry. Mantric poetry means words which are mantras which have the power of effectuation. So, what we hear, what we concentrate upon, what is repeated again and again in our consciousness. A mantra are words that have the power of effectuating it in our consciousness. So I felt that if we want the doors here to open, for us to communicate with Krishna sitting inside of us, or the light sitting inside of us, then I felt that these words would be greatly helpful to open those doors. Because it is behind those doors that our psychic entity, our soul, our Atma is actually sitting. And if we need to communicate with that Atma, with that light, with that smiling Krishna, I felt these words would be greatly helpful. So, if there are any questions or anything anybody would like to share, we can do that. And after that, we can start the sonnet again. But I hope you all enjoyed the whole process and the understanding of what is meditation, what is concentration, and the meditation on these lines of Savitri. If anybody has anything to say, please say
And one
before
thing
we
I
begin.
wanted to ask, this
Yes,
word
Mona.
girl, can you please just elaborate in the
The word
second that gulfs? The spirit speaks to its gulfs.
gulf. So, there is the wider consciousness, there is a universal consciousness. Right now, हम सीमित हैं अपने अंदर. But in moments when the inner lamps are lit and the life's cherished guests are left outside, जिसको हम cherish करते हैं, my outer being, उसको छोड़ दिया बाहर, and the life's cherished guests are left outside, our spirit sits alone and speaks to its widenesses, its vastnesses. It becomes one. There is a oneness, there is a unity with all. So it is able to expand to its real expansion and vastness.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
अंजलि,
Yes.
मैं ये बताऊंगी अपना, जैसे मेरा एक्सपीरियंस ये होता है मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम कि
Yeah.
जब भी मैं मेडिटेशन में बैठती हूँ, मेरा अपना मंत्र चालू हो जाता है बस, एंड आई कीप ऑन सेइंग माय मंत्र. इज दैट द beautiful state, or what type of state
Yes,
it is?
it's very beautiful because we have to be very spontaneous. In meditation, there cannot be rigidity. Because if there's rigidity, it is for अपने आप अपने पास आवाज आती है, अपने आप एक अंदर से एक हुक उठती है कि आपको
I keep on chanting my mantra. That's all.
बस ठीक है ना तो, ठीक है ना तो. When you need to change it to something else, अपने आप अंदर से एक call आएगा that I need to do something more.
Okay.
When that call comes, we will find the way. Abhi, you are so happy with it. It's so good. And a mantra is a very beautiful gateway. Yeah,
Thank you so much. Every time it happens with me, and sometimes I can see the petals, golden petals and silver petals around. That's all.
Beautiful. Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
So, pleasure.